Fundit TV brings you crowdfunding success stories from all over the globe.
Today we will talk to Sonal and Rania about their experiences crowdfunding and how they achieved great success. We have the honor of welcoming Sonal Girton, who is the founder of Tumblewalla, a children's clothing line. She has a fabulous crowdfunding success story, and we're interested to hear all about it. Sonal, tell us, how did you first become passionate about designing children's clothes?
Sure. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. And my passion started after I had my first son, and I found that there was a lack of very sort of spirited clothes that represented sort of my Indian culture and the wonderful colors of the Indian bazaar and comfortable clothes especially for boys. And so that's how Tumblewalla was born.
You took the leap and it turned out great for you. It's so wonderful that you have this great success story. Now you chose a site called moolahoop.com. How did you come upon that site, and what made you choose that one over, say, Indiegogo or Kickstarter?
You know, with Moola Hoop, they were relatively new at the time, and what really appealed to me was that they catered to women entrepreneurs, and they were just very small, and Brenda and Nancy were just so involved in my campaign and helping me to set it up, figure out perks, and even, you know, when we launched and throughout, they were my biggest advocates, you know, and helping to get the word out to new potential people who may be interested in the rewards. And I still have a strong relationship with them today. And so I felt just kind of being part of this community, this small community, was really important. And people who sort of really understood the specific challenges that women entrepreneurs have.
Just wanted to get some quick stats and facts. You're on the site moolahoop.com. How much did you raise and in what time frame?
You know, I raised over $10,000, and in that time frame, I think was about 3 weeks. So I know a lot of campaigns extend for 4 weeks or, you know, longer. And I think one piece of advice I received from Nancy and Brenda was definitely tighten up your campaign. And I think that was just brilliant advice because I could have a strategy for each week. And I think, you know, building momentum to those final days is really important too.
What do you see as the future for rewards-based crowdfunding models?
You know, it's interesting. I feel like crowdfunding has definitely exploded, which is fabulous. But I also feel there's definitely certain groups that don't know much about crowdfunding. So for example, you know, my mother-in-law or my aunts really didn't understand what crowdfunding, reward-based crowdfunding is about. And so I think there's an opportunity to sort of get more sort of different groups or age groups sort of on board with crowdfunding. So a lot more runway to grow.
Congratulations on your success.
Thank you very much for speaking with us today at Fundit TV.
Yeah, thanks.
Rania Anderson is the founder of The Way Women Work. She's a global speaker and business coach. She used crowdfunding to launch her book, Undeterred, The 6 Success Habits of Women in Emerging Economies. Rania has been internationally recognized and celebrated for the work that she does. Rania, can you please share with us a bit about your career background?
Yeah, I've had an interesting career. I started on the corporate side at Bank of America. And I left after 16 years in 1997 and started my own business doing executive business coaching and have been doing that since then. And then 5 years ago began the work really globally with women, coaching them and helping them to unleash their career success. And that's the way women work. My goal is to unleash the career success of 100,000 women. And I realized that I can't do that, you know, one-on-one. So the platform in the book is a way to hopefully expand that reach. So I approached the crowdfunding not to do the research and not to publish the book. I did all that myself. But after the book was written to say, look, rather than buying a book for yourself, which this might not be the right book for you, could you think about gifting a woman a book? Could you think about gifting a university student who's going to transition from from education to work, a book. And people really connected with that. And we had, as you very well know, in a crowdfunding campaign, lots of levels where you could just give one book or one workbook, all the way to you could sponsor an entire class of university students who would be graduating and be able to give all of the students that book. And I'll tell you one more piece of how this is the ripple effect of it. So I was just recently in South Africa, and I took a set of books that had been raised through the crowdfunding campaign and was able to give them to the students there. But the students decided that they had enough money that they could buy the book, but they would use the money of buying the book to fund a scholarship for a girl to attend their university who wouldn't ordinarily be able to attend. So they took the donated books, they bought them at a slightly reduced rate, and then they gave that money to the school for the school to give a scholarship for a student to be able to attend university. So, you think about how like this small thing that you're doing can continue to have a ripple effect around the world.
That's a very beautiful, heartwarming, real story. Thank you so much. It's very touching. Now, what site did you choose to use for your crowdfunding campaign, and why did you choose it?
We chose to use Indiegogo. It seemed the easiest in terms of interface for us. It was a site also where if you didn't meet your goal, you still were able to keep what you had raised. And since I had not done that before, I took that approach. We were fortunate in that we exceeded our goal.
You did well on Indiegogo, and Indiegogo had some tools to help you be successful. How much did you raise and in what time frame?
We ran the campaign for 17 days and we raised $35,000. So it was pretty exciting. I will share this, and I don't know if you've heard this from lots of other people. You raise the majority of money from the network you already have and the connections that you make.
With respect to the power of crowdfunding, do you see it having a role in helping to solve global challenges?
I think it absolutely is, and I would say my experience is one of those. It was really hard for me to start the campaign, and I have to give credit to Erin Reisner on my team, who really was a big part of it. It's hard to ask for help when you've been the person giving help, but when your question is around social impact, if you think about it in this way, and this is what Erin said to me, if you want to help someone who's hungry or needs sanitation or wants to go to university or has a need, you might not be able to do that on your own. Likelihood is you can't, because you don't know how to help that person, you don't have access to them. So when you're doing a crowdfunding campaign, you're giving people an opportunity to participate in something that they believe in, and they can choose to be a part of a bigger movement and have a channel, a way, a platform to do that they wouldn't ordinarily have on their own. And I think about it as collaborative financing, right? I like the word crowdfunding, but I like collaborative financing because I think we're collaborating together to work on something that we have a shared interest around.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure to speak with you on Fundit TV.